We are here in a cellar of very young cognacs. All these eau de vie have spent a maximum of 1 year of aging. These new barrels are filled immediately after the double distillation?
Exactly. In fact, the part played by the oak wood is absolutely essential. Its tannins nourish and color the cognac. The wood also serves to absorb the alcoholic strength of the eau de vie. These young barrels can age 3 or 4 times new eau de vie.
In this cellar, we have a very young cognac, close to 70% alcohol. As can be seen in this bottle, in this sample, the eau de vie is still very pale with a golden yellow color. Could you tell us more about this code, Mrs. Trichet?
The actual code is a secret. In fact, it nonetheless indicates the mix of the different cognacs that I recommended, the mix that we call blendings. Blendings are performed in very large barrels so as to reproduce all the complexity, the richness, and also the constancy in terms of taste.
At Rémy Martin, we have chosen the oak from the Limousin forest for the aging of all our cognacs. That particular type of oak enables a good exchange between the ambient air of the cellar and the cognac in the barrel thanks to the large grain of the wood.
Indeed. We then obtain this cognac with very intense aromas of vanilla, oaky notes. And those aromas are often combined with other aromas of fruit, fresh fruit, such as apples and apricots. And occasionally we obtain a more almond-like nuance to cap the whole.
Many thanks for all those explanations, Mrs. Trichet, on the first stage of aging.
We are here in a cellar with 2 floors, which houses roughly 12,000 barrels. You can distinctly feel the humidity. You'll also notice the fungus on the earth floor and on the extremely thick walls.
In this cellar, the eau de vie are between 12 and 15 years old. These barrels probably contain hundreds of different blends of eau de vie.
You're quite right. Aging and blending are in fact really part of my daily routine, because the blending of the different eau de vie is something that is repeated throughout the entire aging period, right up to the final bottling.
Our eau de vie now have an alcoholic strength of 50%. Can we talk of old eau de vie?
Yes, we can in fact talk of old eau de vie when you notice the evolution of the color and the amber tints of this eau de vie. There's also an evolution in terms of aromas, because in this eau de vie we have fruity notes, such as dried apricot, fig, or even tropical fruit, combined with touches of clove and cinnamon.
Thank you, Mrs. Trichet, for all your explanations.
We are now in the cellar which houses our oldest cognacs. In fact, in this cellar I selected the very best barrels, which enabled me to obtain the perfect final harmony which characterizes our cognacs, which makes them perfect for the optimal aging of our cognacs.
The fine champagne eau de vie have a greater aging potential, which means that we can age them beyond the legal minimum. The whole art of the cellar master also enables us to reveal the aromatic heart.
Yes, here you have the proof of the complexity of the aromatic intensity that we've reached for an eau de vie between 30 and 35 years old. This cognac really has an extraordinary aromatic intensity. The fruity touches, the hints of plum, walnut, and hazelnut are mingled with notes of port. We've also combined nuances with hints of nutmeg, ginger, and when we come to taste it, we sometimes detect the sweet softness of honey, which rounds out the aromatic intensity of this cognac.
Thank you, Mrs. Trichet, for having revealed these 3 phases of aging. Evaporation is what we in our part of the world call the angel share. Each year we lose on average the equivalent of an entire cellar to evaporation, or roughly 6,000 barrels. That evaporation is, however, necessary to concentrate the heart of the aromas.
I hope you have enjoyed this visit of our cellars. We stopped at 3 stages of aging and took a sample at each of those 3 moments. There is no denying that it took me over 30 years to familiarize myself with and to master the aromatic richness of our eau de vie. In the blending exercise that I'm now going to ask you to perform, with the advice of our ambassador, you will craft a blend worthy of our range. A harmonious, opulent cognac with a long finish on the palate. And for a moment, you will become the cellar master of the house of Rémy Martin.